All right, what's going on, guys? We're back with another Nietzsche aphorism. Today we're doing Daybreak once again, and it's aphorism number 291, presumption. Let's get right into it. Now, from the outset, presumption is basically something that's taken for granted, something that is assumed to be true, but not necessarily so. So presumption is a pretended and hypocritical pride. An essential quality of pride, however, is that it is not and cannot be a pretense, a dissimulation, or hypocrisy. So pride would be like a high opinion of yourself. It would be like happiness, if you will. You know, you scored really well on a test, so you feel very prideful. You feel a sense of achievement. And pretense, dissimulation, hypocrisy is just the opposite. It's like a phoniness. It's like you did the very opposite of achievement. You swindled someone. So he's saying a presumption is the antinomy of pride. It's a swindle. It's a lie. To this extent, then, presumption is the hypocritical pretense of incapacity for hypocrisy, something very difficult and usually a failure. If, however, as is usually the case, it does fail, the presumptuous person may expect three pieces of unpleasantness. We are angry with him because he wants to deceive us, and are also angry because he wants to show himself superior to us. And finally, we laugh at him because he has failed in both. How inadvisable it is, then, to attempt presumption. So this is very relevant to the current culture, as much so as Nietzsche's other aphorisms, because what he's basically saying is that you constantly have to be changing and reevaluating your ideas. You can't really set your ideas in stone. One of the well-known concepts of Nietzsche is the idea of the Übermensch, or the Superman, someone who breaks their own bounds, who is born anew, someone who is constantly overcoming themselves to become the greatest versions of themselves, to create themselves, if you will, as he noted in Goethe. And a presumption is just the opposite of that. A presumption is fixing something in a solid place, in unmoving territory, and it's going to be the basis in which you stand and build new ideas off of. But if it's a faulty foundation, then you're just building those ideas on literally nothing, and eventually they'll cave in on themselves, which will reveal you to be a liar and tarnish your reputation, and you'll receive the scorn of the public and your contemporaries. So this is why, and this is not to say that you can't be wrong. He's not saying that at all. He's saying just don't be rigid in your thinking. You want to evaluate all ideas, theories, and data based on experience and your own research. You don't want to just take it for granted. For example, one of the contentious debates in America right now is the idea of Mexican people coming across the border. Now, one of the arguments that, say, the Republicans might use is that Mexicans are all thieves, or as Donald Trump said, rapists, so we have to send them back, we have to build a wall. Now, by boxing all Mexicans into this box as thieves and rapists, then you get the continuation, well, if they are so, then we have to do something. We have to deport them, we have to build a wall, we have to put restrictions on them. But you're basing it on a belief that they all have nefarious intentions, which obviously is not the case. By and large, most Mexicans are hardworking people who are just trying to take care of their families, as is most people around the world. I mean, you always got the bad apples in society. That just happens. You can't avoid it. But to scapegoat them in the way that they've been scapegoated, and this is not the first time. We've seen this, with the Japanese during World War II when they were put in internment camps. We've seen this with the Chinese, the Irish. So basing those arguments off of the fears and off of presumptions that they're evildoers can lead to some bad results in the end. So you don't want to fix your ideas, guys. That's the big take-home message. Make sure that your ideas are ever flowing, that they're constantly changing and always reevaluated. it doesn't mean you have to radically change the way you think and what you believe. It just means that you're going to look at things in a more nuanced way. You might believe something one day, but maybe a year from now, you'll still believe it, but you'll have a different take on it and won't necessarily believe in it in the same way that you originally did. So that's kind of the idea, and that's how you grow. You don't stay stagnant. A flower doesn't turn into a beautiful plant by just staying stagnant as a seed in the ground. It has to change. It has to sprout up and release its petals and bathe in the sunshine and take in all the nourishment of the water. So you have to constantly be changing, and that's life. And those who deceive themselves into thinking that you have to be like a stone and you have to stay steadfast in your beliefs are just incorrect. And history shows that as societies change and as attitudes and thoughts swing, those people kind of get left by the wayside. So yeah. Good stuff again, guys. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you on the flip side.